Assalamualaikum and good evening, ladies and gentlemen. I'm Yusuf Shukri. TVS Nightline 16th October, and here are our headlines for tonight. Urban development requires harmonious integration of land use and transport system. Teenage girl may face the gallows. And foreigners wanting to flee Gaza are now stuck in RAFAH. Now, after catching wind of what seems to be an agreement reached by America, Egypt and Israel to allow foreigners to flee Gaza, many have thronged the border, but betrayed by the sight of many who are still stuck there without essential supplies. But refugees had no choice, as Rafah is currently the only passage in and out of Gaza that is not under Israel's control.
بقالنا 8 أيام 7 أيام واقفين ونايمين على المعبر. بنطالب من سيادة الرئيس السيسي إنه المواطنين المصريين لازم تعملوا لهم حل، لازم توقف يوم يومين أقل ما فيها تطلع جميع المصريين والأجانب من قطاع غزة. بقالنا 8 أيام نايمين على المعبر، ما حدش سائل. دخلوا مساعدات، طلعونا أهم شيء نطلع.
عامة نقول عامة كلياتها فيش فيها منطقة آمنة لأي إنسان ولا لأي حيوان ولا لأي حجر ولا لأي بشر. أنا من هان من المعبر واقفة بالمعبر، أنا تدخلت السفارة الدنماركية على أساس كلياتها تتدخل على هذا الأساس إنه يشوفوا وضع حل، مجرد بس فتح معابر، ما بدنا أكتر شيء. المعابر تمها مفتوحة للأدوية للعلاج للمستشفيات، المستشفيات فاضية من العلاج، الأدوية فاضية من الكهرباء من الديزل من السولار من الغاز، يعني فيش حالة إنسانية، الحيوانات كان ما هي عايشيتها.
الناس هنا بالكاد يحصلون على الماء والغذاء. نحن هنا في منطقة حدودية مقطوعة، أيضا منطقة خطرة، المعبر مهدد بالقصف، ونتمنى من المجتمع الدولي إذا سفاراتنا لا تستطيع التدخل لحمايتنا، نتمنى من المجتمع الدولي، نتمنى من أخوتنا في مصر التدخل لتوفير الحماية لنا.
World leaders have expressed worries, urging crossing points should be open for those who want to leave Gaza. However, Israel's Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyah's office in a statement stated that there is no ceasefire and humanitarian aid in Gaza in return for removing foreigners. In the pursuit of urban development, the harmonious integration of land use and transportation systems is pivotal. Mauro Architects and Planners Chairman Dr. Liu Tai-Ke noted the importance of integrating public transportation seamlessly with urban planning to optimize ridership and convenience, especially for the residents of Kuching City. Liu expressed his commitment to enhancing the functionality of Kuching City while preserving its unique and picturesque ambience.
Look forward to, because Kuching to me is, having come from Singapore, Kuching to me is a very romantic, beautiful place, and I would like to help to make it functionally working better, but at the same time keep the beauty, the kind of romantic, relaxing atmosphere. Well, I have been doing a little bit of planning work for Kuching. And this morning is like giving the Premier update, as well as discussing some of the planning issue he was concerned with, just how we look at the issues and see how we can move forward. It's just an exchange of views this morning, yeah. And I'm very glad that we have been given that opportunity to have this kind of discussion. Because as a planner, I care a lot about giving every city a good plan. A good plan is like a roadmap. If you have a good plan, then you know how to push a city forward. Normally, I plan for 50 years, for Kuching as well, 50 years.
He said this to the reporters after paying a courtesy call to the Premier of Sarawak, Dato' Petinggi Tan Sri Abang Johari Tun Openg, at his office in Wisma Bapa, Malaysia earlier today. Addressing the forthcoming autonomous rapid transit ART system in Kuching City, Liu pointed out that the synergy between public transportation and effective urban planning. He also said during his tenure in Singapore, he collaborated with MRT professionals and witnessed the success of integrating urban planning with train and bus networks.
When I was in Singapore, I also, besides planning, I also worked closely with our MRT people. And actually, the public transportation alignment must closely relate to land use. And therefore, the two, I think, to give the best ridership for the convenience of the people, land use planning and the public transportation line should be closely together. In fact, given this kind of principle in Singapore, nowadays I was told about over 85% of people in Singapore travel by train or buses, because I asked them why. They said because it's so convenient. And the reason it's convenient is because we closely relate urban planning and the train line and the bus line together.
Now, MYAIRLINE Sdn Bhd will prioritize two issues after its decision to temporarily suspend operations, namely refunding affected passengers and paying its staff salaries, both to be settled within this year. MYAIRLINE Interim Accountable Executive Dato' Sri Azharuddin A. Rahman said that the two issues will be the first to be settled by the airline once they secure funding from potential investors. Now, in a press conference on MYAIRLINE's current status at its headquarters today, Azharuddin also emphasized that the staff welfare remains the company's top priority. Regarding potential investors, Azharuddin said MYAIRLINE is actively exploring strategic partnerships and has actually received several proposals. Therefore, he encouraged all affected passengers to contact customer care at myairline.my and the hotline at 03-8966-2522, operational from 7 a.m. to 6 p.m. daily, as they will facilitate the refund process and provide assistance as needed. On to our next update, the Premier of Sarawak, Dato' Petinggi Tan Sri Abang Johari Tun Openg, is set to officiate the Sarawak Regatta Kuching Waterfront Festival on October 28th. Minister of Tourism, Creative Industry and Performing Arts, MTCP, Dato' Sri Abdul Karim Rahman Hamzah, also unveiled a series of activities scheduled for this upcoming event, which will run from October 27th to November 5th.
Jadi negara-negara yang terlibat nantilah kita bagi maklumkan. Tapi antaranya adalah negara-negara dalam Southeast Asia, termasuk dengan Australia, Spain dan sebagainya, Kazakhstan, UAE antaranya. Macam tahun-tahun lepas lah, Sarawak Kitchen, penjualan craft, festival gendang, bermukun, antara lainnya lah. So we have got a lot of activities. Semua ni akan dijalankan di waterfront.
He said this to the reporters after paying a courtesy call to the Premier at his office in Wisma Bapa, Malaysia earlier today. Meanwhile, Abdul Karim announced that the Sarawak International Dragon Boat Regatta 2023 would span 3 days, commencing on October 27th and concluding on the 29th. A total of 20 countries have confirmed their participation in the 9th edition of the event. This participation encompasses 60 teams and 1,712 participants.
Now, a total of 624 officers and personnel of the Royal Malaysian Police will be deployed to ensure smooth process of the upcoming Jepak by-election. Sarawak Police Commissioner Datuk Muhammad Azman Ahmad Sapri said the personnel were assigned to specific phase starting October 21st to November 6th.
Sehubungan itu, Pidana M mengingatkan semua pengundi dan penyokong parti politik agar mengundi secara berdisiplin serta tidak mencetuskan sebarang provokasi semasa tempoh berkempen dan semasa hari pengundian. Para pengundi disiapkan untuk keluar mengundi awal secara beramai tanpa rasa gusar akan keadaan keselamatan kerana pihak PRM akan menentukan proses pilihan raya kecil ini dijalankan dalam keadaan aman dan tenteram.
He said this in a press conference at the Sarawak Contingency Head Office IPK in Kuching on Monday. Based on the latest voter registration updated on September 15th, 43 out of 22,804 voters in Dun Jepak are police personnel. The Election Commission EC has set November 4th as the polling day for the Jepak by-election. The nomination of candidates for the by-election will be held on October 21st, while early voting is set for October 31st. The by-election is forced by the death of its incumbent, Datuk Talib Zulkifli, 72, on September 15th due to kidney complications. In another development, a teenage girl was among 5 individuals arrested for allegedly trafficking 1.4 million ringgit worth of shabu drugs from the peninsula to Sarawak. Sarawak Police Commissioner Datuk Muhammad Azman Ahmad Sapri said the suspects, comprising 3 men and 2 women aged between 17 and 22, were nabbed in an op-tapis khas at separate locations in Bintawa and Stutong between 10:45 a.m. and 2:20 p.m. on October 12th. According to Azman, the illicit substance weighing 42.2 kilograms were seized at a hotel along Jalan Nanas on the same day and brought into the city via plane. Also confiscated was a Pro 2 Arus car worth 50,000 ringgit.
Suspek memperolehi bekalan dadah dari rakan senyap di Semenanjung. Yang kedua, dadah dibawa masuk ke Kuching atau Sarawak menggunakan kapal terbang. Yang ketiga, dadah ini adalah untuk pasaran di Kuching, Sibu, Bintulu dan Miri.
Speaking in a press conference held at the Sarawak Contingency Head Office IPK today, Azman said the second largest drug seizure success was part of the op-tapis khas conducted from October 10th to 12th, involving 237 police officers and personnel. Throughout the operation, a total of 278 people were arrested for various drug offences, which comprised of 252 men and 26 women aged between 15 and 63. On to our next update, a 54-year-old woman was pronounced dead after the car she was travelling in collided with a lorry near SMK Sungai Pau, Sarike. According to the Cebu Fire and Rescue Chief, Andy Ali, the victim was identified as Julia Chindrang. The department swiftly responded to the distress call it received at 11:39 p.m. And upon arrival, the rescue personnel found the incident involving a lorry and a 4-wheel drive. Andy said there were 5 victims trapped inside the 4-wheel drive, with the deceased pinned to the front passenger seat in an unconscious state. All of them were successfully extricated. The survivors were brought immediately to the hospital. Julia's body was handed over to the police for further action. Meanwhile, the lorry driver and passenger were unharmed. Thank you for staying with us. The Penan community continue to face persistent issues with illiteracy. However, through collaborative efforts between local authorities and organizations, the Penan community is witnessing a renewed sense of hope in their battle against illiteracy. To address this, the Kelas Dewasa Ibu Bapa Orang Asli dan Penan or KEDAP program was initiated this year in Long Jenalong, Baram, with its primary goal to significantly reduce the illiteracy rate among Penan parents who never had access to formal education.
Under the Sedide initiative, KEDAP program provides these parents with the opportunity to gain fundamental knowledge that can improve their lives and better support their children's education. In addition to literacy skills, the program offers 3 phases covering essential self-development topics such as personal hygiene, nutrition, health education, and vital life skills.
Ya, hati mau sekolah, tapi kerana bapak tidak menyalahkan bapak, dia tidak mampu belanjakan kami, dia tidak mau suruh kami sebut sekolah pun tidak boleh. Dulu tidak dapat jauh dari bapak mama. Lagipun dulu tidak ada sekolah yang dekat-dekat. Harapan saya sampai saya dapat membaca, dapat menulis, itu yang saya mau. Anak-anak saya pun, saya tidak mau anak saya macam saya, tidak sekolah. Kerja siang malam saya untuk belanja anak saya. Saya tidak mau dia kerja keras macam mama lagi. Saya mau orang kerja dengan kerjaan, ada harapan sikit, belanja sikit pun tidak macam mama.
Meanwhile, KEDAP classes, which take place every Monday at Tadika Sedide Long Jenalong, not only improve the parents' education, but also equip them with basic knowledge to support their children's education, creating a positive cycle of educational progress. However, motivating adults to return to education is challenging, as many feel ashamed of their literacy limitations, making the prospect of going back to school even more daunting. Betty Ugat, a 39-year-old resident of Long Jenalong, said some of the villagers are too ashamed to join the classes due to their advanced age.
Sebelum saya mengadakan kelas dewasa ini dulu, saya memang tidak tahu. Tidak tahu ABC, tidak tahu 1, 2, 3. Tapi setelah ini adalah ketiga kali saya masuk KEDAP, saya sudah tahu ABC sampai Z, 1 sampai 100, dan tambah dalam 1 sampai 100 saya sudah dapat buat tambah, demikian juga tolak. Saya itulah bagi mereka yang di luar sana, kita sangat penting untuk belajar, jangan malu. Saya tahu juga ada sebagian kita yang memang rasa malu untuk datang ke KEDAP, sebab kita tahu kita sudah berumur, itu memang kita merasa malu lah. Tapi bagi saya ajakkan bagi mereka yang di luar sana, jangan malu. Biarlah kita dapat sama-sama belajar dan untuk kita dapat ajar cucu kita pada masa yang akan datang.
It is worth noting that the Penans understand the significance of formal education for the progress and well-being of the community, despite being faced with significant obstacles due to the lack of schools in close proximity to their villages. Long Jenalong village chief Ugat Kong disclosed that the village's remoteness and limited infrastructure pose substantial barriers to education.
Dulu mula kami orang bikin kampung sini, ada susah sikit pergi bawa budak sekolah di Long Bedian. Setelah Petronas bangun ini rumah perak, kami ada lega sikit, ada bagus. Sebab dari kecil anak kami sekolah sini banyak susah dulu. Pertama, kalau pergi Long Bedian itu mau bayar tambang. Bapak bayar RM3, budak pun RM2. Sekarang ini tidak ada bayar sudah, itu kemudahan sekarang. Jangan tidak sekolah. Dari inilah ketinggalan kami kaum Penan ini yang jauh.
Penan individuals, both young and old, are defying stereotypes and seizing new opportunities, demonstrating that with the right support, they can unlock numerous possibilities. The partnership between Petronas and the state government has successfully enhanced the community's access to higher education and possibly a wider array of professions.
On to our next development. The Malaysian ringgit extended its decline against the US dollar on Monday, influenced by the dollar's continued strength due to geopolitical concerns in the Middle East. The ringgit closed at 4.7340 after opening at 4.7380 this morning against the greenback at 6 p.m. compared to Friday's closing rate of 4.7260 after opening at 4.7305. Now, Bank Muamalat Malaysia Berhad Chief Economist Muhammad Afza Nizam Abdul Rashid said ongoing tensions in the Middle East were affecting market sentiments and bolstering the US dollar.
In addition, he said crude oil prices fluctuated but remained above $90 per barrel as the situation in Gaza is expected to get intense. At the time of writing, the benchmark Brent crude oil price eased 0.09% to $90.81 per barrel. The ringgit also traded mostly lower versus a basket of major currencies. Similarly, the local note was traded mostly weaker against other ASEAN currencies. It fell against the Singapore dollar to 3.4506 after opening at 3.4592 from 3.4522, which opened higher at 3.4559 at Friday's close and declined against the Thai baht to 13.0392 from its opening of 13.0549 from 12.9810, opening at 12.9995 previously.
Now, the government is developing 4,839 hectares of land in Sabah and Sarawak for paddy cultivation, the Dewan Negara was told today. Deputy Prime Minister Datuk Seri Dr. Ahmad Zahid Hamidi said it would involve 2,680 hectares in Batang Lupa in Sarawak, adding that the plan to develop the affected areas for paddy cultivation, which is aimed at improving the country's self-sufficiency level SSL, had been discussed with the Premier of Sarawak and the Chief Minister of Sabah.
Saya ingin menyatakan bahawa untuk Sarawak umpamanya, kawasan yang dikenal pasti setakat ini 5,000 hektar. Yang bersesuaian tadi masalah tanah gambut. Cuma 2,680 saya sebutkan tadi. Di Sabah kita telah kenal pasti antara 5,000 hingga 10,000 hektar. Yang bersesuaian setakat ini 1,600. Artinya untuk dengan izin economy of scale kita perlukan kawasan yang luas. Ya. Soal irrigation peruntukan datangnya daripada AIDA, ya, daripada Kementerian Pertanian dan Jaminan Makanan. Tan Sri Yang Mentua, zaman kita bekerja secara silo telah berlalu. Zaman kerajaan tahu semua telah juga berlalu. Zaman kerajaan benar semua telah berlalu. Oleh sebab itu pendekatan yang dilakukan sekarang ini, ya, ialah kerjasama dengan pelbagai kementerian, jabatan dan agensi, apatah lagi kerjasama dengan kerajaan negeri. Walaupun ini tidak termasuk dalam MA63, tetapi kita mengambil langkah supaya keterjaminan makanan dapat kita bawa untuk Sabah dan Sarawak.
On to world news. Hundreds of individuals assembled at Arras Place des Heroes to commemorate Dominique Bernard, the French teacher tragically killed by a former student. The nationwide minute of silence in French schools occurred at 2 p.m. on Monday. The killing of Dominique Bernard on Friday has deeply shaken the nation and prompted calls for enhanced security measures in schools. The government has responded by elevating the national security alert and deploying 7,000 troops. The attack in Arras, a town with substantial Jewish and Muslim communities, occurred amidst increasing tensions in the Middle East. A 20-year-old Russian man, the suspected perpetrator, has been arrested for the murder and for seriously injuring 3 other individuals at the school he formerly attended. Meanwhile, France's president on Monday called for a ruthless government response to those with terrorist ideologies in the wake of the attack, urging the police to meticulously review their records of radicals who might be eligible for deportation from France, ensuring that no one has been unintentionally omitted. Additionally, he has directed the Interior Minister to adopt a distinct strategy when dealing with young men aged 16 to 25 from the Caucasus region. Wrapping up the Nightline tonight, Jakarta, the capital of Indonesia, grapples with a growing waste issue as its primary landfill site nears its capacity. In response, a dedicated group of volunteers, the Jakarta branch of Trash Hero World, a Switzerland-based organization, has initiated a campaign to clean the city's parks and streets while raising awareness about the problem.
Martin Irfandi, spokesperson for Bantar Gebang Waste Management, highlighted that the landfill exclusively receives waste from Jakarta, with an average daily intake of over 7,000 tons. A volunteer named Maria Christie expressed her enthusiasm for her inaugural participation in the cleanup effort and her commitment to being part of the activity on a weekly basis. She emphasized that if more people become aware, their collective small efforts can bring about significant changes. Gusti Krishna Aditama, the leader of Trash Hero Indonesia, emphasized that the movement's goal extends beyond cleaning, where it aims to raise awareness within the community. The issue of waste is just one facet of broader pollution crisis, with Jakarta ranking at the top of global pollution rankings on multiple occasions in recent months. The city also faces the looming threats of sinking due to groundwater extraction.
See the world closer with TVS as we bring you the latest news updates both locally and internationally, just a click away by heading on to our website at www.tvstv.my or by following us on our social media platforms. That's all the time we have for tonight's TVS Nightline. Once again, I'm Yusuf Shukri. Thank you for watching. Good night.